Welcome back, Flipper Fanatics! Today we're diving headfirst into the golden age of early 2000s pinball, which was Sternland, a time when multi-balls ruled the earth and movie tie-ins were king. These rankings are based on PINSIDE User ratings, sprinkled with my completely unbiased opinions, and served with a generous side of sarcasm. Let's get flippin'. Number 10, Terminator III, The Rise of the Machines. Terminator 3, the sequel to the Terminator II pinball classic, rolls up like it's ready to throw down, but instead of Sarah Connor level grit, it sometimes feels like the T-800 stopped by for an awkward dad joke. The shots, oh, they're good, like Sharpshooter wanted good. If you've got precision, this game rewards you with a path to the wizard mode that feels challenging but not soul-crushing. There's a sense of satisfaction when you nail it. Miss a shot, prepare to feel the cold, robotic punishment of quick drains that don't bother to say hasta la vista, baby. The wizard mode itself is a satisfying culmination of tasks, not so much Judgment Day as moderately hectic day, but still engaging. Let's talk about the back glass toy for a second. It's kind of lame. It's like a ping pong ball shooter. It kills the flow of the game when you get to use that mode, but it's different, so that's neat. Why did they need 5 face close-ups of Arnold? I have no idea. There's a captive ball, and it's front and center. It's just sitting there like a weirdo at a party that you don't want to talk to. Steve Ritchie's usual dynamic design chops feel like they've been phoned in on this one a bit. And the art screams early Photoshop experiment, but you know, what are you gonna do? My final thought is the game won't have you shouting, "Get to the chopper!" But with the right setup and some patience, T3 redeems itself as a fast, unforgiving, and ultimately rewarding skills game. It's no T2, but for players who want punishment with a side of redemption, it'll be back. The Sopranos comes in at number 9. The Sopranos pinball table is like a mob boss in a tracksuit. Flashy, charming, but maybe not the sharpest tool in the shed. This George Gomez design feels a lot like the Lord of the Rings and Monster Bash mashed together, but with a mafia flavor and a fish toy that looks like it came out of a dollar store clearance bin. The theme integration is solid. The callouts are ripped straight from the show, and nothing warms the soul like hearing mobsters drop F-bombs while you're ripping spinner shots. The playfield flows well enough, and sneaking a ball at the lock ramp feels as satisfying as pulling off a successful heist. The yacht multi-ball is also a fun highlight when you stack that with the swearing. I mean, we got pure pinball poetry going on. The game is not the Don Corleone of pinball. It's more like Polly Walnuts. Entertaining, but you're questioning some of the choices. The safe toy is underwhelming, a clunky mech that feels like a liability rather than an asset, and that fish toy, I mean, it's like they blew the budget on the voiceovers and had to raid a party store to get that. A tournament play exposes some glaring issues, especially with multi-ball, and if this table isn't properly maintained, it can feel soft and sluggish. Initially, I wanted to write this game off as a mid-tier Stern effort, but the more I play, the more I see its potential. Is it a masterpiece? Nah, but it's got its charm. The spinner shot is excellent. Get it juiced up to 60,000 and you'll be living the high-scoring life. And while the layout is basically Lord of the Rings knockoff, the Mafia rankings and modes force you to shoot across the entire playfield to be the boss. Stack your multi-balls, rack up those spinner points, and remember, if you want to rule the family, you've got to play the whole table. Just don't expect it to be as groundbreaking as Tony's therapy sessions. Number 8 is Stern's 2008 take on Gotham City, Batman: The Dark Knight. This game doesn't hold back. It's got that in-your-face, adrenaline-fueled gameplay that keeps your palms sweaty and your reflexes sharp. The multi-ball stacking here is next level. It's like the game turns into a chaotic symphony of jackpots, and you're the conductor trying not to mess it all up. The Joker and Scarecrow modes, absolute highlights. The rules are tight, rewarding skillful play without veering into only experts will survive territory. And let's not forget the fast-paced action. If you're into pinball that keeps you on your toes, this table delivers like Alfred bringing Bruce his morning coffee. Now there are some cons. Let's talk about the elephant in the Batcave, the callouts. Some of the fake actor lines are passable, but others land with the grace of a Batmobile skidding on ice. It's not a deal breaker, but it is noticeable, especially when a line doesn't fit the intensity of what's happening on the playfield. The music? Meh. Apart from the Scarecrow multi-ball and Bat Signal themes, it's more generic action movie than epic superhero score. Single ball play also falls a bit flat. It's like the game's pacing hits the brakes when you're not juggling 2 or 3 balls at once. And while the design isn't your typical Steve Ritchie style flow, it feels more stop and go than it should. The lack of fast return ramp shots stands out, though it's not a deal breaker. Add in a few minor code bugs and you've got a recipe for occasional frustration. If you're a fan of multi-ball chaos, The Dark Knight might just be your new favorite sidekick. Stacking multi-balls here isn't just fun, it's a full-blown pinball party and you're invited. But if you're looking for buttery flow or a rich single single ball experience, this isn't the table for you. It thrives on its multi-ball mayhem, and while it's a blast when everything's clicking, it can feel a bit hollow when you're not doubling down on jackpots. Like a summer blockbuster, it's big, loud, and occasionally a bit clunky. Undeniably fun when it hits its stride, it's a game that'll test your reflexes and multi-ball skills while occasionally making you cringe at the call-out. It's worth a flip, especially if you're in the mood for some high-stakes Gotham action. Number 7 is Family Guy. Family Guy is the pinball where raunchy humor meets flippers and lights. The game doesn't just lean into its theme, it cannonballs into it, making it a hilarious, unapologetically absurd pinball experience. First off, if you're a Family Guy fan, this game is basically a love letter from Stern to you. The audio cues are pure gold, packed with those "did the machine just say that" moments that'll have you laughing even when you drain. It's like the show, but you get to interact with the chaos instead of just watching it. And then there's the mini playfield. A brilliant surprise. Normally, Pat Lawler preaches the gospel of constant ball danger, but here, nope, you get a little break from the tension with Stewie's miniature pinball world. It's clever, it's fun, and it's one of the best features of the table. The main playfield also stands out. Sure, it's got some familiar Stern DNA, but the shot placement feels fresher than usual. The creativity here gives you a bit more to chew on than your average standard fan layout. Alright, so here's some cons. The evil monkey in the room. Spinner to kick out. It's the go-to move for points, and it can start to feel repetitive. Hit the spinner, collect your reward, rinse, repeat. Yes, there's more to explore, but for tournament players and high score chasers, it's all about grinding that one path to glory. And while the humor and audio cues are fantastic, if you're not into Family Guy, the constant barrage of crude jokes might wear thin. This game isn't shy about staying true to its source material, so it's not for everyone. My takeaway is Family Guy is an absolute riot. The integration of the show's humor and characters makes it one of the funniest pinball machines ever made. The Stewie mini playfield is a delightful break from the norm. The overall layout is refreshingly creative for a Stern machine. However, it's not perfect. The repetitive scoring strategy might leave competitive players feeling a bit cold, and you know, again, this game isn't for everyone. It's a bit crude. If you like Family Guy, this is the game for you, brother. Kind of like the Simpsons Pinball Party. It's maybe the perfect iteration of its theme and play. Let's start with the basics. This game shoots beautifully. The layout feels like a perfect balance between rewarding and challenging, especially when comparing it to its contemporaries like The Simpsons Pinball Party and Monopoly. Shots off the right flipper feel accessible without being handed to you on a silver platter. Stern really struck gold with that balance. And the features, oh boy. Magnets in the center to mess up your aim, 6 pop bumpers, yeah, 6, that create chaos when multi-ball gets going, and the very target, an ingenious mech for its time. It's a ripoff from the 70s. I mean, let's not kid anybody here. It's a drop target, but with a grudge. You don't just hit it, you have to earn that knockback. Couple that with the Pyramid ABC mini playfield that's equal parts fun and frustrating, and you've got a game that keeps you on your toes. The adventure theme is woven perfectly into the gameplay. Each continent becomes a mini mission, and if you're skilled enough, or lucky enough, there's the mythical Atlantis Wizard mode waiting for you at the end of the journey. I have never gotten there, but I've seen it, and let me tell you, it's like seeing Bigfoot ride a unicorn. It's real, but just out of reach. The cons, honestly, there's not much to gripe about with this game. Some might find the Pyramid upper playfield a bit too chaotic, as it relies more on nudging than precision, and okay, maybe the Shrunken Head callouts and Penguin Quacks won't win awards for sophistication, but they add more charm than they detract. This game has everything. It's a rare machine that can both challenge hardcore pinball players and entertain your kids or less skilled friends. The Shrunken Head's sassy callouts, the random chaos of multi-ball pops, and the sheer joy of nailing that very target make this table endlessly fun. My final thought on this one is if you own this game, don't let it go. It's a forever machine. One that'll keep you challenging to believe it or not while making you laugh with its sheer ridiculousness. And who knows, one day maybe you'll reach Atlantis and you might see me there. I doubt it. Stern's Pirates of the Caribbean is cruising in at number 5. Let's start with the pros, the star of the show, the ship sinking mechanic. It's not just a toy, it's an event. The way it integrates with the gameplay and theme is pure brilliance. Every time you hit that ramp and the ship starts rocking, it's like you're right in the middle of a pirate battle. It's immersive, satisfying, and easily one of the best thematic toys Stern has ever done. Gameplay is where this machine really shines. It's got a perfect mix of challenge and accessibility. Stern managed to balance smooth flow with enough trick shots to keep seasoned players engaged. The progression feels natural and the rules are easy to pick up, but offer enough depth to keep you coming back. Okay, let's look at some cons. I mean, it's hard to criticize a game that nails so much right, but here's the deal. If you're comparing this to JJP's Pirates of the Caribbean Glitter Bomb Edition, you might feel the Stern version is simpler. JJP's version is a spectacle of lights, sounds, and innovations, but Stern's table focuses on classic gameplay and reliability. It's not a con as much as a different flavor of pirate adventure. My takeaway is that this game is pretty timeless. After years of playing it, it still holds up against newer and flashier machines. It's one of those games that when you see it at the bar, you're like, oh, we're gonna go play that one right now. And while the newer JJP version is a technical marvel, there's a charm to Stern's Pirates of the Caribbean that's hard to beat. It's like comparing a swashbuckling adventure film to a CGI-heavy blockbuster. Both are great, but one might have a bit more heart. Whether you're a seasoned pinhead or just a casual player looking for a fun theme and rewarding gameplay, this machine is worth its weight in gold doubloons. Get out the rum and let's go play some pinball. Swinging into number 4 with all the flair of your family-friendly neighborhood SpiderMan, this pinball machine is a fantastic tribute to the web-slinger's adventures. The familiar fan layout feels intuitive yet rewarding with a satisfying balance of flow and challenge. The sneaky hit it behind the third flipper shot for an extra ball in multi-ball is a clever and rewarding touch that keeps you engaged. Doc Ock's easy-to-access 2-ball multi-ball offers fantastic opportunities for stacking with modes, upping the excitement factor. Both ramps feel great, the right ramp being tight, oh so satisfying when you nail it, especially when starting Battle Royale. The cons for this game: the Photoshop playfield art, while functional, feels a bit dated and lacks the finesse of hand-drawn artwork or Zombie Yeti's skills. It's serviceable but not a standout feature. The use of movie clips is thematic but can be difficult to decipher during gameplay, reducing their overall impact. For those who enjoy a break from flipper action with a fun video mode, the omission here is noticeable. There is no video mode in this game. The table strikes an excellent balance between accessibility for casual players and depth for seasoned pinheads. While it's easy to rack up multi-balls and get a decent score, truly stacking and maximizing points requires precision and skill. The even scoring structure makes it particularly well suited for competitive play. The takeaway here is SpiderMan is a modern pinball gem. It's great for both casual and competitive players. It's a combination of solid design, engaging gameplay, and thematic immersion ensures it remains a standout title. Whether you're smashing Doc Ock, battling Sandman, or taking on Battle Royale, this game delivers web-slinging fun in spades. Number 3's game is The Simpsons Pinball Party, and I have owned this game a couple times now. Keith Johnson and the team here have designed a pinball masterpiece, and if this was my list, it'd probably be at number 1. Widely regarded as one of the deepest and most complex pinball machines ever produced, this game balances challenging gameplay with rich thematic integration. If you're ready to invest time into learning its intricacies, The Simpsons Pinball Party is a treasure trove of pinball brilliance. Every corner of the playfield offers meaningful shots, from the upper playfield's couch to Itchy and Scratchy saucer to the garage to the auto scoop. There's always something to aim for. This game boasts one of the most intricate rule sets in pinball history. The game rewards strategy, planning, and skill with layers of modes, multi-balls, and wizard modes that can even stack. The Springfield Mystery Spot is a standout mini wizard mode that showcases the creative, chaotic energy of the table. Alien Invasion and other multi-balls require skill and precision but offer immense satisfaction when executed successfully. The humor, call-outs, and animation perfectly capture the irreverent charm of The Simpsons. Fans of the show will delight in the references and gags, and like Twilight Zone, this table just keeps on giving. No matter how well you know it, there's always something else to find out about it. The cons? I mean, it demands a significant time investment to truly understand what's going on and how to get there. Casual players might feel a bit overwhelmed. The pop bumper placement, it's on the left-hand side and kind of in the middle of the playfield, and it can disrupt the flow and make certain shots less accessible, like the left loop. A second switch on the left flipper to trap and stage flip on the upper playfield would have been a welcome addition, especially during an Alien Invasion. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't have all of your cake and eat it too. Homer's gotta eat sometimes as well. Simpsons is a player's game. Its depth and complexity demand patience and skill, but reward you with one of the most satisfying pinball experiences ever created. It's a table for those who love the journey as much as the destination, offering endless strategies, challenges, and moments of discovery. And finally, at number 2 and number 1 is Stern's The Lord of the Rings. Now, there is a limited edition that was put out maybe 10 years or so after the first initial print in like 2003 of this machine. Anyway, we're going to get there. The Lord of the Rings is an epic pinball machine that mirrors the grandeur and complexity of the beloved film trilogy. Designed by George Gomez with programming by Keith Johnson and Dwight Sullivan, this table is a journey that challenges players with its deep rule set and immersive theme. The theme integration is top-notch, pulling players into Middle-earth with every shot and mode. The modes and multi-balls reflect key moments from the films, making the experience feel cinematic. There's a very deep rule set with numerous modes, multi-balls, and the ultimate challenge of Valinor Wizard mode. This game provides endless replay value. Programming excellence by Keith Johnson and Dwight Sullivan's post-release dedication to refining and expanding the game elevated it to its legendary status. The game is pretty customizable. Players can tweak settings and outlanes to match their preferred challenge level, making it approachable for a range of skill levels. The shaker motor that came with it is a fantastic addition that enhances immersion by bringing physical feedback to the gameplay. There are some cons as well. Like all these games, the Golem shot is often criticized for feeling poorly integrated. This shot primarily feeds the pop bumpers instead of offering a rewarding target. But achieving Valinor is an arduous task that even skilled players may struggle to accomplish without extensive practice. While its difficulty adds to the game's epic nature, it can feel unattainable for casual players. The playfield art quality is a bit muddy and dark and just lacks the clarity and detail seen in newer Stern games. The back glass with its gold outlines can feel underwhelming and a bit dated. There's also a pretty steep learning curve for beginners or those unfamiliar with the deeper rule set games. Lord of the Rings can feel overwhelming at first. My takeaway, Lord of the Rings Pinball is a journey worthy of Tolkien's epic saga. Its depth, challenge, and immersive theme make it one of Stern's best loved tables. However, its demanding nature and some minor design flaws may deter more casual players. Again, I think I'd put The Simpsons at number 1. Lord of the Rings would be in my top 5 from this era, but I have more fun definitely with Simpsons and Family Guy than I do with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings it's challenging. Really tight shots, really fun layout, and again, very immersive, lots of stuff to do, and a great game, but I wouldn't put it at number 1. Where would you put it? What would you put for number 1 in these listings here? It's time for you guys to be heard. Maybe I need to make a top 10 list that somebody else comes up with in my comment section. If you want to see that video, let me know down below. You guys have a rad day. Thanks for checking out this video, and there'll be lots more to come here on the Captain Retro channel. Captain!